So I planned on going over these problems here with you, so hopefully you can follow along. So remember, name the first 15 perfect squares. Sometimes that really helps for you to break down these radicals. So obviously 1 times 1, 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 3, 9. 4 squared, 16. 5 squared, 25. 6 times 6, 6 squared, 36. 7 squared, 7 times 7, 49. 8 squared, 8 times 8. Ooh, I was going to write 8 squared. Haha, 64. 9 squared, 9 times 9, 81. 10 squared, 10 times 10, 100. 11 squared is 121. 12 squared is 144. 13 squared, 169. 14 squared, that's 14 times 14, so that's going to be 196. And lastly, 15 squared, 15 times 15, 225. The numbers do get bigger, obviously. But when it comes time to simplifying, I usually try to keep it within probably up to 100. Make your life a little easier, the basics. Now, I did see some of the work that some of you have handed in. The thing is, some of you just wrote integers down. So what you did, you rounded. But when it comes time to simplifying a radical, they want you to leave it as an irrational number. Every one of these examples were irrational numbers, so no decimals. So like for the example number 8, I had to think of the factor pairs of 8 where one of them is a perfect square, and the one that jumps out is 4. So I write the 4 first, then the 2. Think of it like breaking it down like a factor tree. I took the square root of 4 is 2, and I left the square root of 2 alone. 72. Again, I know a lot of times people will think, hey, what about that 8 times the 9? I know 9's in the list, but I want the biggest perfect square. So I would have actually started 64, not a factor. 49, nope, because if I take 72 divided by 49, I'll get a decimal, but 36 is actually it. So I would have used 36 and 2, and if you break down the 36, you get the 6 square roots of 2. Number 3, same idea with 3. Break down the 20, square root of 20, break it down to 4 and 5, and the square root of 4 is 2. Number 4, again, think of the factor pairs of 28. What two numbers multiply together give you 28? 4 and 7. 4 is the perfect square. So your final answer there would have been 2 square roots of 7. Now number 5, so let me go through this here with you. Gosh, that's an even number, right? It ends in an 8. So if you take your calculator out, and I know you may not have a calculator, that's okay. Even if you use your cell phone calculator or basic 4 function, if you take 108 and divide by 2, because it is an even number, I get 54. 54 is not a perfect square. So try the next integer after 2, 3. Take 108 now, divide by 3, and guess what? 36 is in the list. So I will put the 36 out here in front. That's the square of 36. And then we're going to break it down using 36 and the 3. The square of 36 is 6, and the square root of 3 stays. Number 40. Hey, ends in a 0, so that means I have a factor of 10. Sure enough, 4 times 10. So if I break it down, the square root of 4 is 2, and the square root of 10 stays. Last two examples. Some of you might remember this, the short week we had before everything went down. We actually did these problems the Tuesday before vacation. 54, remember I showed the finger trick? 9 times 6, so if you take down and use your fingers, but I can't because I have one hand holding the phone, but the 9, if you use the 9 factor with the trick of your hands, you'll remember 9 times 6 is 54, and the square root of 9 is 3. And same thing with 63, 9 times 7 gives us 63. Hopefully going over this will help you rekindle your memory of simplifying a radical.